What's up, everyone? It's Carrie, aka Nerdygirlcreates. Welcome back to Otaku Tuesday, and I'm here with the squad, Bo and Laura. And boy, do we have some stuff to talk about, like this big, huge announcement from Beckett about grading manga. Yeah, so before we get into all that, let's check in with the squad. Bo, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, catching up on my TBR and also getting behind on my TBR with these new manga I'm bringing in. So I'm having a ball. Can't wait to tell you about some of the new reads that I've gone through. Laura, what about you?
Sorry, I saw Haikyuu in the background of our thing here, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I like completely lost my train of thought.
Oh my god.
She put you right next to the haiku. It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my
You know,
gosh.
I know Laura. I know Laura.
Yeah. But yeah, things are much better. My kids are feeling better. We're all well today. And that is the best I can ask for. And to be here, because if I couldn't be here for sickness because of sickness, I would have been pretty emotional, I ain't gonna lie. So very grateful to be here today and have you guys inform me about this grading thing because I'm a noob. So teach me, senpais. Teach me.
Yeah, this is gonna be real fun. Bo, I know you put together a nice little introduction video for this. Did you want to go ahead and just like?
Oh, you want me to get into that already? Yeah, we can do that.
Oh, yeah,
All right. Let's show you. Let's get into this with this little clip. Hey hoarders, why let your manga sit on the shelf unread when you can grade it and then leave it on the shelf unread? Choose Beckett Collectibles today. Can I get my check now?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go build my own theme park with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the park.
Oh boy, I tell you.
Already banned from them. I made that jest at them, and they blocked me. But to be fair, they blocked everybody that had any kind of negative opinion. So that was fun.
But yeah, I was kind of surprised by this. That like they were that angry about people's reactions to this.
But didn't they even take down the promotional video that they had?
Hey,
like,
yes, they did.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
I was like, who's getting the link?
You can.
Where'd
you
send
continue.
the link?
I'm sending the link to Manga Sloth real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Does he want to jump on?
Yep. That. Paste. I thought I could paste it. There we go. And okay. And to continue, yes, Beckett is a grading company, and now this is something that Carrie is more well versed in than I am. So that's probably where I'll lean on you, Carrie, because you can let me know more about what all happened. How does comics do grading? Like what's all? Tell us about that.
Okay, so comic. There's a bunch of different criteria. I'm not somebody who actually goes out of the way to get comics graded. I do have a friend, Doc, who might join us. I'm not sure yet. What they do is, first thing they're going to look at the quality of the book. Is there any kind of like tears? Is there any kind of discoloration? Is there any kind of faults in the actual book? The other thing they're looking at is how important is this book with comic books, meaning is there a storyline, which we call a key issue, that was relevant in comic book history? Is there a first appearance of a very popular character in comic book history? If you go back to like your golden age, silver age, and bronze, that's when the beginning of comic books was, like your introduction to like Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and later Spider-Man, X-Men. They didn't mass produce issues of comic books, so they're very hard to find, and a lot of them are not in the best condition. The better the condition, the higher the value, the higher the score, the more money you could make.
Yeah, like our shoujo out of print manga. So.
Oh, that was too on point. Okay, that was too on point.
like Red River. I mean, you can make thousands.
What's that?
Hey,
Hey.
there's a lot of different criteria they're looking at. You know, and I think with modern comics, and I'm going to check on this with Doc in a minute. It's more with the variants because a variant covers, like, they get a special artist to draw a variant and they only have so many issues out. There might be a Comic-Con exclusive variant that you can only get if you're at the Comic-Con and stand on that line for 2 hours.
Now,
there's a lot of different things, and people who get comic books walk into the store, especially collectors. I know some people, I can't speak for everybody, they'll get 2 of the one issue if they know this is important, and they'll immediately put it in a bag with a board to keep the shape and hold on to it and then watch. It's like the stock market. They're watching to see if the value is going up. And then if it's something they feel that it's going to get graded, they're going to send it in. I know with CGC, you have to have a certain value amount, I believe, with the comics to send in to get graded.
Yeah.
If you get a signature from a famous artist or writer while you're at a con, you're going to want to grab somebody at CGC, who's one of the grading companies, to witness you getting it signed so they can get you a certificate that they know for a fact Todd McFarlane signed it.
Yeah, I have heard of instances where signed items would be kicked back because they didn't believe it was actually signed by the person.
Wow.
Right. And also there's also been recent incidents with CGC where some people have found a way. There's like a case. Mine, I don't have it available and I should have taken it out. There's a case and they have like a certification up here. They found a way to get in the case and put in a lower grade book with a higher grade certificate. So there's been a whole scandal with that too. That's how like big the comic book market is with this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea.
How many pages normally come in a comic? You were mentioning that number to me.
It's about 12. If it's something like maybe a one shot, it'll probably be a little bit more than that.
Did you
But
say
it's
12?
never
12 pages.
Yeah, like hold on.
See, but you got around 200 pages in each one of these. So they're gonna.
That's how thin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a comic book.
So, to tie in with this, why would somebody grade their comic book?
Again, it's like a spectator market. There's a comic that just recently came out. Marvel Comics is relaunching like an alternate universe version of their characters called the Ultimate Universe. And they just dropped the first volume of Ultimate Spider-Man, which takes a whole new look at the origin of Spider-Man. People bought that in droves because they love the story. It's already seeing it on eBay for like $40.
Yeah.
Compared to the original price, which I think was $4.99.
Yeah, gotcha. And Manga Sloth, I know you're looking into this. I don't know if you're on yet.
I think so. Can you hear me?
Oh,
there we go. You
Yes.
had some good
I was
points.
I was just being patient.
Oh yeah, just making sure you're. But yeah, you had some good points. We were talking about it off screen, and you had some really good points. Do you want to share that? Like, why would somebody actually want to do this with manga?
Yes, I would love to know the answer.
Yeah, if you, I mean, we can go on with our thing if you need a moment.
I think there's plenty of reasons. So far, it's mostly just been people crying on the internet like usual.
Like me.
And and I have not had a conversation, nor have I seen a negative side that doesn't just get debunked immediately.
Yeah.
There's, whether it's small positives, it's only positive. Even if it's small or little to none, it's a lot more than the negatives. And we've known about manga grading for almost over a year now, and my opinion hasn't changed. I think in our niche, people try to compare it to trading card games or coins, video games, obviously comics, things like that, and you just can't. The manga secondary market is nowhere, and it will never be nowhere near the secondary market of any of those other ones. So if you want to try to be a reseller, or gosh forbid you try to scalp, it's just not going to work, or it's not going to work well. So in my opinion, and I had this opinion before I was working with Beckett, but me and Beckett are working together on a few things. And just so you know, I'm not biased.
Yeah.
but if it sucks, I'll definitely tell you when they're unboxed.
I'd believe that.
What I sent off for them to grade for me is nothing that I'm ever going to sell. If I sell my whole collection, I will have these couple and I will keep them.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, one was a crazy Ancient Magus Bride misprint where the whole cover, spine, and back is all black and white.
Yeah.
Another one was the first manga I ever purchased ever, because it's sentimental to me. So I don't care what the grade's going to be. But you can also slab them without getting them graded. So I sent that off to preserve it, and then I'm going to have it, and I actually get to display it. And then other things I sent off were special manga where they got signed by the mangaka, and stuff was drawn on them by the mangaka and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I see it more as a collector type of way for display. We only get to see spines.
Not an investment.
Yeah, not an investment. Though I think there's potential for that, but the potential compared to anything else is abysmally low. Because I just don't see someone going, okay, I'm going to buy a $10 Chainsaw Man #1. I'm going to spend $40 to get it shipped there and slabbed. Let's hope it gets a 10.
Yeah.
And now I'm already I'm already invested, and then I'm going to have to ship it to somebody, so I'm already invested like $70. What am I asking for that?
Yeah. It's shipped at least twice now. Three times.
I'm going to do immense amounts of work for what? Nickels and dimes, if anything. So good luck with that.
Oh, yeah. And welcome, Doc. I think it's is that your friend, Gary?
Doc. Yes, Doc is here for the first time on Otaku Tuesday, and the reason Doc is here is because he is really familiar with getting comic books graded, so he has more insight to that. So I asked him to come on to see what his opinion is on with this. How are you doing, Doc?
I'm wonderful. I have no idea what my audio sounds like because I'm traveling this week, and I did not exactly plan on this, so I am not set up with my normal rig.
But I do appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
welcome.
I appreciate the invite.
Now, I know you get a lot of comic books graded, and explain what goes into comic book grading. Why do people get comic books graded? I did a little bit, but I know you probably have more insight on it.
I mean, it's basic preservation, and as much as you can say objective, observation of condition. I mean, for hardcore, at least comic collectors, condition really does matter. I don't know how much that matters so much for the manga audience.
A lot less.
You know, what's that?
Oh, sorry, I just said a lot less.
Yeah, we deal with yellowing. We deal with Amazon shipping that doesn't care for it at all. They just
and there's no bag and boarding.
Yeah, I you know, there's very little in the line of preservation. I kind of look at manga the same way I look at, you know, say trade paperbacks. Generally speaking, you know, the print run on it doesn't particularly matter. You know, the condition of it generally doesn't matter as long as it can look halfway decent on your bookshelf. That's really the only thing that matters. Now, generally, it's because comics, unlike, say, manga, they go out of print. You know, an issue of, you know, Amazing Spider-Man comes out, you know, issue 805 or issue 14 doesn't particularly matter. After that month, yeah, they may run a second printing if demand dictates it. But for the most part, you miss it, you're SOL. Until the trade paperback comes out, which is just a collected edition version. You know, I'm assuming that I mean, I'm not familiar with manga at all. So I don't even know if they're doing, you know, smaller, you know, more serialized versions, or if it's just getting released in the what would for the comic, you know, at least the periodical comic industry look at as, you know, collected editions. You know, or is it, you know, because I mean, I'm a book reader too, so you know, I generally don't buy my books by the chapter as they're coming out, and then wait for a collected version so I can just get it in hardcover. No, I just go to Barnes and Noble when the damn book comes out, and I buy the whole thing. You know, when you start getting into really rare things, out of print things, or classics that have generally penetrated the overall cultural zeitgeist, and that's when you know, even in like books, you start getting into rare first editions, stuff like that. But you're looking at stuff that's 200 years old, you know, or older, except for maybe, you know, your handful of, like, you know, first edition Gadsby is, you know, sought after by, you know, hardcore book nerds.
Yeah.
But for the most part, even then, they're not. I mean, they're concerned about grade or condition. They don't want it falling apart on them. But you know, in the book industry, they aren't giving a damn about restoration. Whereas comics, you know, in general, we grade books because we care about. We don't want restoration on our books. We want them to have been. Basically, we want a time machine. And
we want to be able to pick it off the shelves ourselves.
Exactly. We wish we were in 1938 buying that copy of Action Comics off of a, you know, a little newsstand rack on the corner in New York City on whatever the hell date it came out. That's what we're doing. It's almost a, you know, time capsule for comics. And so the overall condition, the overall grade, that matters in value, but you're only dealing with, you know, you're dealing with stuff that's 50, 60, 70, 80 years old.
Yeah.
That it really, really starts to matter. Yeah, you get your modern variant stuff, but that's more for the hardcore collector. Your run-of-the-mill reader doesn't really care. I mean, they don't even encapsulate things, and I think that's what, in my experience, a lot of the manga audience is. They're more of a readership audience than a collector audience.
I think a lot of this, and I'll talk about the people that were against this. That I've seen a lot of the comments. If we were to go back to 2020, where a lot of us kind of came in, there was a big thing called the manga boom. Everybody was stuck at home and they started getting into manga. A lot of the product was getting bought faster than it can print. And well, we would see this with certain issues. I think Chainsaw Man, when that was first coming out, there was a few volumes that if you didn't get it right when it came out, you'd be waiting months just to get another one. So people have that fresh in their mind of how that was, where it was you had to get it before it even everybody knew it was out. And when it comes to out of print manga, that's already hard to find. I think a lot of people are concerned that, and again, these are concerns that, there is some merit to it, but not entirely. I mean, you can still find these things if you look hard enough.
Right.
But their concern is now you're going to have these scalper people who are, you know, those type of people that go into a niche and then like, oh, people are going to buy money for that, so I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna get those things and I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna flip it as soon as it comes out. And they do it.
It's gonna
that's a concern.
Gonna happen there.
Yeah, we know that's a concern, but it's probably not going to happen that way. But
it is,
that's why.
And the company's just going to mass print. The
Yeah.
company's just going to mass print because there's a bigger demand.
Yeah, I mean, look at One Piece. We had these box sets going for $1,000 a piece in 2020, 2021. Then they finally started coming back out. What is it now? 200?
$250 according to the new prices that were announced today.
Wow.
I think at the time was like,
It was $175 when it first came out, but it's going to $250.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
that's
not like
retail. Nobody will ever pay that.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, okay. Talking about this, my question is then when Doc was sharing, about the time capsule of how that's really important of keeping that older comic pristine condition, while Mangasoft was talking about the sentimental value of why he got his stuff graded. Do you guys feel that if Beckett came not with newer things like Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, Naruto, things that are easy to get in hand, do you think if they would have done out of print titles, say like From Far Away, if I'm thinking of shoujo stuff, but Red River, those things that are like already when you get them, you're like, I got this. Do you think there would be a different reaction if they would have done older titles instead?
You mean like a financial?
Either one, for financial or sentimental, like just a more positive reaction from the community rather than doing things that are easier to find in the present,
I don't think so. I don't think it would change anything because that's already what people are complaining about. But I just don't see somebody going like I can look over on my shelf Toriko 16 that's $175. Why would I slab a Toriko 16? You know what I mean? Like it's not a volume 1. It now can't line up with the rest of my series. You can't read it. And as Bo and Doc said, there's just in their own ways, there's just no way scalpers are gonna become a thing. It's just it is impossible.
I'm just going to create a demand then.
Yeah, maybe a demand for better
reprints
or better quality control. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
If people go into Barnes and Noble and they go, there's 20 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen 1 and only 3 of them are going to get an 8+, and they want to grade them. Well, they ain't going to pick all the chipped ones up, but everybody else is still.
Right.
Yeah, think about the older issue, the out of print issues that people are wanting to grade. I hope they realize they're not going to get a 10 because they're going to experience yellowing. They're going to have, like you said, chips and all kinds of things on them. Wear of time.
And if you kind of like what Doc said, like if you're with comics, there's limited print runs, and manga, the print runs are just gigantic. So when you said One Piece was super expensive at one time, and Spy Family and Jujutsu Kaisen and the Chainsaw early ones were just selling faster than they could make them, they love that. And then they just made in Trinity pallets more of them. They weren't going to stop ever.
At the time. But...
yeah. They were never going to stop. So me and you play
One Piece.
If you compare it to that, it's even farther away because those are things that you actually need to play the game. And things like that.
I was going
sorry, I'm talking so much. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, man. So, in my experience, the grading, interesting grading comes out of a collector sphere, obviously. But collector spheres come out of scarcity and out of long, out of print stuff. I mean, the comics industry, one of the reasons why vintage comics and like high grade back issues have a demand is because up until 18, 20 years ago, trading or like collecting your books was into like a collected edition was reserved for the best of the best stories. It was not every issue. It was not, like, for instance, I don't know if any of you are really comic book people, but like, say, X-Men. Okay, you had like the first basically 100 10 issues that just didn't get collected in anything for the longest period of time. And then they only collected basically Days of Future Past, which was a 2-issue story, so 44 pages total. And they did a bigger collection of like the 10 or 12 issues of the Dark Phoenix Saga portion of the 3-year-long Phoenix Saga. That was it until now. That was issues like 141 and 142, and then like 125 through like 137 thereabouts. And then there was nothing collected again until you get into about like 230 with like Fall of the Mutants, and then Inferno, and then Extinction Agenda. But you'd have 10, 12, sometimes 50 issues between your collected editions that if you wanted to read that story, the only way to do it was through the back issue market. And it was out of print. It was forever out of print. So you had to buy the copy from 1974 or 1983, whatever it was, and you had to maintain, you wanted to read it in a decent enough condition. So you end up building, it's the scarcity begot a collector mentality, which then begot the necessity of encapsulation, the whole slabbing and keeping things in the same condition, and then the market kind of started being like, well, if I'm going to spend $50 on a back issue, because that's the only way to read this. Do I want the crappy looking one, or do I want the good looking one? I mean, it was just those basic kind of tenets of human nature. But it seems like what Beckett's doing here is almost more like to be perfectly honest, almost a Franklin Mint type situation where they're trying to manufacture collectibles. And right now, the manga industry, at least its penetration into the American market, is still relatively young.
Yes.
Especially if you compare it to like superhero comics, so you're almost 90 years there. You're probably looking 20, 30 years really penetration into the American market with manga. Hell, even the like back issue stores, like which became like the direct market in comics, like comic book specialty stores, didn't even really start springing up until the 1970s, like the late 60s, early 70s. So that's 30 years since like the first comics, like first superhero comics came out. They didn't even have a store to go to start finding that. You basically just found it in flea markets, or somebody's dad was throwing stuff away.
Now, that's not what we see with manga. Carrie, when did One Piece first come out? And that's been going on since
97.
Yeah.
1997.
And the same prints have been printing every year.
Yeah, it's still relatively young. It's only 27 years old. And it's remained in print.
Plus, I think comic books is really ingrained in Western culture, where this is something from Japan that's relatively just picking up steam in our side of the ocean. So it's not like if you wanted to go out and get like the actual first appearance, say, of Luffy, you would have to probably get a Shonen Jump magazine that was probably only printed in Japan.
Yeah, that's where the collector's mentality may start kicking in, kind of the same way that in the 90s you saw it with import CDs. Like when there'd be a band that you like and the American version, but the Japanese or the European import version had like 4 extra songs on it.
Yep.
So people paid a premium for that. But now we're in the era of digital music. Nobody gives a shit anymore.
One thing I kind of want to tie back to Manga Sloth. He was talking about the One Piece card game. Carrie, I'm share. Don't share this yet, but with a card game, you would assume that a relatively high value card would probably be maybe $100 if it, and depending on how old it is, right? Well, let me go ahead and show you. This is the newest booster of, let's say, One Piece, and this is
Okay.
a trading card game. People go to card shops to go against each other, play in tournaments, and here we go. So, am I sharing it?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know.
So here is
Holy
the
crap.
top card, the manga Luffy. It's an alternate it's an alternate art from the regular one, but it is being sold for. Oh, sorry, somebody's selling it for $39.99, but it's actually sold last. Hold on,
Just the one card.
and this is just off of TCG. The last one that was sold was for. Here we go, $4,750. That is crazy. You know how old this card is? It came out in November.
Did they have limited print on it?
Kind of limited right now. They said there was another distribution coming out. I'm not sure where they are on that. Maybe if Mongoslav, if you know anything about that.
Yeah, so everybody, that's not that surprising. In Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and everything,
Right.
those are baby prices.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, this is an alternate art version, so you can get this
Mhm.
card that's not this expensive and still play with it.
Yeah.
But it's not like that with manga, because this
Right.
card, if you just wanted, if Carrie, you said, I want to get this $4,000 card today by opening it up, in general, you know, you can get lucky. It's kind of like a jackpot, but in general, you would maybe spend $1,200 opening boxes, 12 boxes, maybe even more, probably 1,500, depending.
For a card.
Oh
And
my
that's just for the chance to open it, because it's a made to be collectible game. In manga, you don't need 4 manga to play a game.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you don't need any of that. So manga's
And
not
they
made
don't do
that way to
they
be
don't
collectible.
do variant covers that much in manga either.
Yeah.
And I
Like
would say
alternative.
too, even if you can't get it physically, majority
Yeah.
of the time you always have the backup option. You can go read it digitally somewhere. Legally, not even scans, like legally go read it somewhere, or you
Yes.
can digitally
Yeah.
buy it from Amazon.
Laura's
With the backup.
100% right,
Yep.
and then Carrie's right. I see that as a positive. Some people might not also,
Mhm.
but if Laura's like, wow, I really like this Italian print of Haiku. Now, I already own that volume in English, but the
Same.
cover is amazing. She could buy it $15, and she's like, well, I want to display it, and then she could slab it for 30, and it
Mhm.
would look super cool on the shelves. And then I don't know if you saw, Beckett is allowing the top of the slabs to be have backgrounds in like manga and different styles and stuff, which
Oh,
is
okay.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
CG,
yeah, you can display it.
Yeah, I was about to say CGC does something
Yeah.
like that.
Now, the point of all that was just this is what people are fearing. And again, Spock,
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us are in agreement. Yeah, I mean, I can see somebody trying that. I don't see the mass amount of people doing that. I don't think there has to be a manga boom, in my opinion. So y'all might disagree with me on that, but what happened
Well-
in 2020? That needs to happen again on top of that in order for it
But
to get this bad.
here's the thing, and Doc, you can probably get into this more, but there was an incident in the 90s where they saw people making money off these rare comic books. And they decided, oh, well, hey, let's get in on it. But what they ended up doing is just mass producing the comics. I mean, with manga, how are you going to say, okay, this is something that's just going to be really rare and make a lot of money off of? You can't, because even if, say, a shoujo manga that's out of print, if suddenly they see a lot of people are demanding it and reselling it and trying to get it, somebody's going to get the license and start printing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Manga Sloth, I mean, the way he's wanting to do it, that's the target audience right
Right.
there. I don't think it's a lot of people, but
But I feel like they're trying to make it financial.
yeah.
Like what Carrie's 100% right. It would almost have to be Beckett being the printing company.
Yeah.
to make it quickly and mostly worth value.
And that makes it literally the Franklin Mint at
Yes.
that point. Like,
Yes.
I'm not even joking with like the commemorative plates, the commemorative coins, and crap like that that they started doing in the 90s that were just manufactured collectibles.
Oh, Home Shopping Network. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yes, you have a short window where it grows demand, but then like you said, you know, okay, somebody goes out and buys all of the Chainsaw Man or Manga X, whatever it is that's the new hotness, and then gets them all slabbed and tries to, you know, flood the market with it. First of all, everybody's just going to be like, why do I care? I can just wait another 3 weeks until the next print runs in the store. So eventually somebody's going to be left holding the bag with, that's what happens with any sort of overhyped collectibles. Somebody gets left holding the bag. And you know what? The scalpers can try, and it'll be a minor inconvenience for you guys because, you know, you're like, okay, well, I guess I got to wait a couple of months for the next print run to come in. But they're going to be sitting there going, well, shit, I just put, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into investment on this, and nobody's buying it.
Yep.
I think we can also agree, like, I'm just gonna, you know, 100% agree for all you guys. If we walk into a store and we just keep ripping on Chainsaw Man here, Midsaw Man, if we see 100 volumes of Chainsaw Man Volume 1 at a Barnes and Noble, how many of them are a 9 or a 10? 1? 0?
That's the other thing.
0.
Because like people walk up and they go, "Oh, let me look in here and see what's going on."
Like,
and the ones shipped to you, the ones shipped to you are not much better. Though back in the day, I used to grade a lot of manga, also comics also, and I could walk into my local store and pick up my, you know, order or get some off the shelf, and if there was 10 of them, 7 of them would get 9+ all the time.
Yeah, that's common. I mean, that's why at least modern comics, anything under like a 9.8 is basically not even worth the cost of slabbing. I mean, maybe a 9.6 if it's a key or a minor key.
Yes.
That's modern. You know, the variant market, it's manufactured collectibles. You know, manufactured scarcity, meant to get people that already spent a bunch of money on the comic to spend a bunch more to buy a second copy with a prettier cover that you'll never actually open. So,
we would actually have to see Yen Press, Kodansha, One Piece Books, 7 Seas. We'd have to have a publisher step up and actually like lean towards Beckett almost and say, hey, I'm going to do a variant cover and there's only going to be a limited print run, wink, wink, you know, or something. And I just don't see them doing that. I see them doing that, but I just don't see them doing that because of Beckett.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. Overseas, there have been some famous comic book artists who have done limited covers for manga. Like Marco Cicchetti did Kaiju number 8, and Jorge Jimenez did My Hero Academia. But they're not available here. They're available overseas.
I mean, it could be
happen.
And we're back to the import version of a 90 CD. It's
exactly.
There's a very small market for it, and the only thing you're getting is a different cover.
And in a different language.
Yeah, in a language you can't even read.
Yeah.
Which is perfect because you ain't gonna break it open to read it anyway. So you're putting it on display.
Yeah.
That's the example I was given with like Laura picking a Italian print, you know, or French or whatever, some kind of haiku volume or something. Because my wife was even like, there's these crazy awesome Witch Hat Atelier
Mhm.
volumes, and she wants to slab them up as soon as she can, like they're in different languages, just to display them. So it just once again falls down on the sentimental display collection, not reselling, scalping type of deal.
Yeah,
Or preserving.
I'd rather them just deluxe something rather than
I
do
don't
like
know.
this.
How would
I
they?
absolutely love this one.
How would they slab that?
I don't know. No. I would no slabbing. No. It's like don't slab. Just make us a deluxe edition. Like Viz, don't team up with that and make variants. Just give us a deluxe.
Yeah,
Of our favorite one.
especially if it's stuff that stays generally in print. I mean, you could do limited print run of, say, like, you know, for comics, it would be like the absolute edition versions, which are oversized, hardcover in a slipcase, each individual volume, special art, and a
Like Dark
huge
Horse.
markup.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. The same way that you know, they did them for The Walking Dead, they've done them for Invincible, they've done them for a lot of other books, you know, popular things. But even then, they don't encapsulate those. Hell, you can't even get like up until a few years ago, you couldn't even get Treasury Edition. So like the old like 1970s Superman versus Muhammad Ali Treasury Edition sized books graded by CGC, and that's all they do is comic books.
Mhm.
So I think we can safely say that this isn't going to be a thing to really worry about. But we do see just a lot of people kind of scared about it. But let's hopefully this puts a lot of people's nerves at ease. I mean, it shouldn't be a big thing.
At the end of the day, it's as simple as, hey, you don't like it or you don't want it, don't buy it. If you weren't going to buy that Mushishi volume for $500 on eBay, well, you're not going to buy it for $800 if it's slabbed.
No.
So just move along.
Mhm.
True.
It'll be reprinted soon.
There are other
Yeah.
ways to read it.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
oh, what was
thank-
so? Go ahead.
So I will say real quick, I think there's some opportunity for fun stuff. So just check out, just keep an eye open for my channel for seeing how low of grade I can get, and with destroyed manga and some fun things.
Rip up some Attack on Titan like Nick, and
But is it still complete?
Yeah.
So that's where you gotta, when you try to go for like the lowest possible grade, but then you screw up and you get the NG grade where it's no grade because it's not complete, or you get a qualified grade because it's not complete. That's when you start getting into, because they start getting very particular in grading with that. You know, if it's missing a page, it'll get a qualified grade where it says, you know, it's missing page 43.
Well, I definitely will be trying certain things, and I did a little video series of Can Manga Stop a Bullet?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I was like, that'd be cool to see that get graded and slabbed.
my God,
Yeah, it could not, but I will definitely see if manga can be graded after it couldn't stop a bullet.
oh wow,
Okay, that's funny.
that's funny. You know what? This also reminds me, Bo, you was something you and I were talking. I was going to ask Doc. I don't know if it ever happens in comics, but is there ever like a misprint that becomes like highly desirable? Like, okay, because like we're talking about that with a manga. Like they suddenly were repeating chapters inside a book, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just read this.
Oh my goodness.
And sometimes it's an individual print run, sometimes it affects the entire print run. Wolverine issue 131. For whatever reason, they had to recall that book because it was supposed, like one of the dialogue boxes was supposed to say the word killer, and it said a derogatory term for, you know, Jews.
Oh,
Said. And like a slur. I mean, like, it's literally right there. So that's a recalled book. And they re-released it with the proper, you know, word.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still find it on the market, and there's increased demand for it. You'll have books with double covers or sometimes triple covers. I have a couple of books where, for whatever reason, the first two wraps, so if they just do it in wraps for comics and for stapled, the first two wraps are upside down and out of order, and backwards. So the last 4 pages and the first 4 pages are backwards and upside down. So it's but so some of those have demand, some of them don't. From back in the early '90s, Venom, the first solo Venom comic, it had this foil cover on a card stock, but there were some of them that came out where it was red foil background where the red wasn't there, so it ended up a black background, a black foil background. And so those end up high demand because they're looked at sometimes like variants, and sometimes it's one of those, oh, this is just stupid and I don't care.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it just depends on what the market in general ends up deciding. Do we care or don't we care? Or is this just more annoyance to us than actually a cool thing that happened?
All right, so we probably should shift gears. I think we got a couple other things to do. We have we're going to go over some manga announcements. Not sure who wants to stay for that, but
yeah, I know Doc's probably gonna go. But Doc, thank you so much. Do you have anything coming up? I know you're gonna probably be on Aficionados this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'll be on Comic Aficionados over on Thinking Critical Saturday morning, like usual. I have a couple of more videos with Wes, and over on his Patreon. So you guys have fun. Anything else here, I'm gonna have nothing to contribute. So you all have great fun.
But thank you so much.
Have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too. Then there were 4.
Yeah, then there were 4. All right, so what's our next topic, Bo?
All right, so we have a bunch of manga announcements, and I had to pull up Yen Press's whatchamacallit, their Twitter account just to pull it up because we were talking about that one. Let me see. How do I? Hold on. This is gonna take me a second. Here we go. All right, Laura.
I'll say Yen Press is winning. I appreciate how Yen Press has been doing more of these license announcements where, you're not waiting 3 times a year. They're like, oh, hey, by the way, tomorrow we have license announcements coming in. And while they are much smaller, say that we're not getting 20 license announcements dropped in one day, it's still really, really nice. And I think that these license announcements are pretty good.
Yeah, I hadn't been seeing these, so I don't know. I thought I was blocked for a second. I had to go double check. I was like, why am I not seeing these announcements now?
No, I haven't read Black Butler, but I always think it's really cool when we get art books in English because I feel like it's just a really rare occasion. And so Black Butler, it's getting a volume 4, and it's just going to be an illustration collection. I thought pretty cool that they're going to have from different arcs in the series, but that they're going to have things. I think it's from the musical in Japan, and I was like, that is totally cool because I'll be honest and say I love the Haikyuu live action stuff. So if you're interested in seeing things sort of not behind the scenes, but you don't want just the art covers in the art book. This is going to have that plus extra. So if you're a Black Butler fan and her art's amazing, this would be something definitely to check out.
I do like Black Butler, the anime season 1 specifically, and a couple of seasons after that I do like, but season 2 is dead to me. I don't acknowledge it whatsoever. But the manga is a little hard for me to read. I mean, it's not written any different, but I find it's just not keeping my attention. But I do love, like I said, the anime. I think it's really well put together, and I love the music. But art book, I might skip it. There's no might. I won't. All right, so we got a next one.
This one sounded pretty interesting. It's based off of a light novel series that they have licensed. I think they just recently licensed the light novel as well. But this woman actually is taken over by the body or soul, spirit, however I say that, of a mercenary who died in a civil war, I guess, in this story world. And he's in the body of this tyrant who's the empress, and she is the reason why the Civil War broke out in the first place. And so there's something with her hair that signifies like the beauty of it, and everything signifies that she has this special gifting. And so I guess he's going to, I don't really know what he's going to do, but he's in this body, and supposedly this does have like this love triangle between, I think it's like a feminine prince, something with the military, and then this princess. So if you're, I guess, into that thing, or into that, I would say like the love triangle, that this one sounded like a very compelling and interesting one, and it just sounded like a really engaging fantasy isekai story.
Yeah, the art looks good, but yeah, that storyline not for me. I mean, Manga Sloth, is this on your list?
No.
Awkward
Same.
silence. I like the cover. I appreciate the cover art. I'm not gonna deny that. I do appreciate the cover art.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pretty cover.
It might be something my wife will try. Backtracking a smidge here. I do like the Black Butler. I like when they have more than just pictures in them, like
Yes,
something to
Same.
read.
Yes.
And then backtracking a smidge more, what Laura said, I appreciate Yen Press doing these acquisition announcements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They send me a big like creator kit through my email every time with like pictures and everything. I think they want me to make a video about it,
Like
but
hint.
yeah. But I appreciate it. But no, I'm not reading this. No thanks.
Yeah, same here. All right, it has my attention, but let's see what it's about.
Okay, this one is pretty interesting. It's by the same creator of Heaven's Lost Property and Plunderer, which I have not read.
I'm in.
Well, I guess this guy, he's an unemployed high school dropout. He lives in this place called the Losers Lodge. He pays $33 in rent. That is how much. I had to go look. It was 5,000 yen. I looked it up, and it's 33 USD. I was like, bro, you got it made. Everybody's sharing everything and all that. Well, this angel comes, and she's going to try and, I guess, flip his world upside down. I don't know if get him motivated, but change his life up for the better. And so this is supposedly like a good slice of life comedy with this angel girl just trying to get this man's life together, help him get his life together. But I'm like, $33 for living in just a place, like a boarding house? Like, that is hard to beat. That is hard
my
to
money.
beat.
So yes, I guess this is pointed at the degenerate in me. So yes, I'll be picking this up. Carrie?
No.
Manga Sloth, you?
You couldn't pay me $33 to read this. This is not my thing. I'm sure this will appeal to a bunch of bows out there, but it's not my thing.
It's trash, but yeah, it's my trash.
It'll be comedy trash at least.
Yeah.
So you can laugh while you read it.
True.
All right. Let's see.
What's next? This also looks like bow stuff.
It does.
Well,
it does. It meets the first requirement.
This is a novel, okay? This is not a manga. And I will say, I don't really read novels. I'm a little put off by the cover, but it sounds really interesting. It's about a younger brother and an older sister. They've been summoned to this world, and the ruler is like, hey, you're going to be the judges of these different trials. And the first trial they've been given is that the hero is being accused of murder, and they need to find out if he is the murderer, and if he's not, who actually is. So he's using real life courtroom logic. How he knows this as a high schooler, we don't think about that. But he's using real courtroom life stuff to help solve, I guess, these trials that are going on in this fantasy world. His sister apparently is not very smart though. But you're coming for that. But I thought it was interesting that it's a pair of siblings that got isekai'd and not just one, and that they're using courtroom kind of things to help solve trials. So I thought that was interesting in that regard.
That actually, I'm with you. That's very intriguing. I'm actually interested in that, but as far as it being a novel, I'm out.
Yes, that's how I felt too. I was like, if it was a manga, I was like, I would be very interested in picking that up because I'm like, what other? There's not many. I mean, Death Note instantly comes to mind that there's a lot of logic that's happening behind the scene, or well, in the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you're having kind of this kind of courtroom kind of thing, I was like, oh, that stands out from other isekai. I was like, I will give it that. So
the market's not really flooded with that kind of storyline. So
right,
maybe.
right.
Carrie, manga?
If it was a manga, I would.
Yeah.
No pictures, no read.
Yes.
Where's Margat? She has abandoned her thing where she says, if it doesn't have pictures, I'm not reading it. Now she's reading novels.
Oh.
I'm just not into novels. I mean, my wife reads novels and a lot of books too, but I don't think she'd be into this. If this gets a manga adaptation, maybe I'd see if it's
or even an anime.
Or,
Yeah.
Maybe if it gets an audio, I might pick it up. But I'm starting to see more of those, and I'd be interested.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think a lot of us have the time to sit there and read a novel. So like, I got other stuff to do. I got a bunch of manga to read.
Yep. That is me. I have one novel on my list this year, and it's only because it's related to Twisted Wonderland. Now, if the Haikyuu light novels, that's another story. I'm all over that. I'm here for it. Give me all the words for that.
If I ever get the Trafalgar Law one, then
yes.
yeah.
I'm like, so, but those are really niche, I mean, I'm already engaged in that fandom and know the characters. So, new novel like this where they have to build the story world from the bottom up, that's an investment. That's an investment.
And it's not what you were saying?
I can't remember. I'm not reading it. That's it.
Yeah. And let's see, what's this next one?
So a lot of people were really excited for this one. This is an award-winning manga. I forget which manga magazine it was in Japan, but it's about this young high schooler here. All the high school women, they love him and they confess to him all the time. They think he's very, very attractive, but the thing is he likes guys. He has no romantic interest towards women, and he really just wants somebody to see the real him. Like, is he just a pretty face, or is there more to him? Supposedly, like it says, it's more, I can't say that word. It's right there, the P word. It's the take on this, I can't say it. Philosophical? No.
Oh, philosophical?
Thank you.
That's the only time I'll get that.
So I think it'll be different than, say, My Love Mix-Up came to mind, but that one's not really like a strong LGBT manga, but it's very light humor and or light and fluffy with a lot of humor. This one seems to have more of a more of a seriouser take on it than that, say, other series that are out. But a lot of people are excited about it, especially since it was an award-winning one.
And nothing draws it from what the description says. Doesn't really draw me in, and typically it's not really my cup of tea. It has to be a good story for me to like something that's better described as that.
I might read it online if it's available, but I don't think about buying it.
Yeah.
Is this? Oh, sorry, I'm butting in. Go ahead.
No, go on. Go on.
I would just say I agree with Carrie. I'm the same way.
Is this considered a boy's love? Or
it didn't say that. So because they do have two other titles that they specifically said were a BL. So I don't.
Oh, okay, then probably not then. It's not my thing, but if it's real character driven and like emotional and dealing with things, then I could see myself, reading it if it's good.
Yeah.
I like the cover a lot.
Yeah. So Let's see. That looks
Go,
interesting.
go, 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 ghost.
Okay. Is this a comedy?
Yes, it is a dark, I think they said a dark humor
Ooh.
thriller kind of story. I actually looked
Ooh.
up I went on Amazon Japan and actually looked at the sample for this because I was so curious.
Mhm.
And from what I've gathered from the pictures and what they have shared with us, that the woman on the right, she's in this affair. I don't know if she purposely was in this affair, but they get caught and she really feels down and she takes some kind of pill and seems like she ends up dying on her bedroom floor, and she is approached by this woman spirit that comes to her. They must have some kind of funny banner because she's pointing off to the side, and the main character sees her dead self there.
Mhm.
And I guess that's where the shenanigans unfold. I don't really know if this is like a slice of life kind of feel in the sense of the chapters are not related to one another, or if it says supernatural thriller, so maybe it has a continued plot and storyline. But
Mhm.
the art's really interesting, and the characters seem really, really funny to me. Even though I can't read Japanese, but I was very intrigued just reading the Japanese sample. So I definitely have this one on my radar, even though I feel bad. I thought the person on the left was a guy, and I thought it was going to be like a paranormal romance. And I said, oh, I missed that she was a woman somewhere in there. My excitement. I was like, I wanted a romance. Anyway, sorry for that ramble there. But
That may be the first time in history that anyone's thought a guy was a girl or a girl was a guy in a manga.
Yep. Yep. First time.
Facts.
Groundbreaking things.
Mark
Wow.
it down.
Yeah.
We gotta
Timestamp
update
that.
Laura's Wikipedia. I like the covers of these. It says it's a comedy drama josei.
yeah,
If
they
that
did say it was a
means-
It was the only josei that was licensed too, so that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
But it sounds
Slightly
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's funny, I'd maybe read it.
Yeah.
Dark humor. I'm all over that. So yeah.
I just felt bad for her because the funniest part, the sample was her looking over at her dead body and not able to like connect. Her spirit's here and she can touch herself. Her dead body's over there.
So
I
she's
don't
like
know.
slapping her face. Like,
Yeah,
Wake up!
pretty much. So yeah.
All right. Let's see. That looks cute.
And then shoujo, the only shoujo license. This is a 3-volume series. It sounds very cute and wholesome. It's about this young witch here. She's great at everything, but as you know it goes, she's horrible at magic. And this, I guess where she's at takes place sort of in the forests of Ireland, and she's in this secluded forest with like modern day life around her, or like modern city, but she's never been outside this forest, and she comes across this talking wolf, and it's sort of their everyday life and gentle shenanigans of her just, I guess, living in this forest with this talking wolf. It sounds so cute, and it looks really cute too. I was like, the cover's so adorable.
3 volumes. That's not a lot of investment, and
Mhm.
the art
Oh,
looks
okay.
pretty good. Looks cute. I think
Yeah,
I'm in on that one.
yeah,
Yeah. It sounds adorable. I might check it out. Especially if it's only 3 issues.
right. That was nice. That it's shorter. I mean, unless you really love the series and you're like, I wish it was longer. Then that's a different story for another day.
Both, can we
Yeah,
put you down for 3 copies?
I agree. I think this looks cute. I think this will be something my wife would read, and maybe I'll even read if it's like you said, if it's short.
Yeah.
I was looking at some of the art. The art's nice too. Real hecka cute.
Oh, that's great to know. That's great to know.
Let's go to this next one.
Okay. And then we're getting into the BL. This one is, I don't know, it's like a spin-off of another series that they have printed. And it's about this guy. They're university students, and the dude on the left has been possessed by a wolf spirit. He's sort of chaotic, really loud, rambunctious, while the other guy's very reserved, afraid of rejection, and just him and his cat. Like, he just wants to be with his cat, do his work, do whatever he's got to do. But his cat, I guess they're like neighbors, I think it was, and his cat jumps on the fox spirit's balcony, and that sort of, I guess, begins their friendship and eventual relationship between these two university students.
Ah,
I feel like I've heard this premise before.
yes.
I say, who can you scroll up just a tad? Okay, it's the spin-off of Fox Color Jealousy, so I don't know what that one's about, if that one's similar at all.
No, ooh, but that's a pass for me.
He
Yeah,
looks,
passes.
the little fox spirit dude, he looks so happy.
He
I
does look happy.
Yeah.
But
And then the spicy one for last. Now, this one, I'll be honest, I was really confused reading the blurb of who is who here.
Yeah.
It's one of them is a wolf and the other is a bunny, or a rabbit, excuse me. And there's definitely, like, as it says, perceived bias, a little bit of, I think, discrimination, especially towards the wolf guy because of how he looks, how he sort of acts. And I couldn't figure out, one of them is saved by the other from a pervert somewhere, like on a train or something. And that changes their whole view of the other person. But I'm not sure who is who here. So I'm sorry I can't say much more about this one, but apparently it's sweet yet spicy. So if you like, I guess, characters that they're half human, half animal-like qualities, and want something a little bit on the spicy side, then this would be a good one to check out.
all right. Pass for me, but
Yeah,
again, it's
Pass.
yeah.
It's for somebody.
It's for
Yeah.
somebody. It's not for me.
Yeah,
Thumbs off.
And
Oh,
that
sorry,
was all.
Yeah, I don't really read BL stuff, so pass for me. And it's a wolf and a bunny.
Again,
I mean,
sounds
I
very
already
familiar.
I already read B stars, so I'm
Yeah.
good.
All right, so I will stop the screen. All right,
Right.
so I think we were going to go over not really a top 5, just recommendations that we've kind of read.
Well, I was going to first talk about Monster.
Oh, Monster! Shoot.
Yes. One Piece fans. So Monster is now free to read online on I believe it's the Shonen Jump app. And also I think is the printed version coming out soon?
I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
So
Okay.
this is a side story for One Piece or a prequel or what?
It was something he dabbled with before he even did One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was published in the Shonen Jump magazines over in Japan. I don't have the full history on it, but there's also an anime that's dropping soon on Netflix.
I thought,
And from what I
wasn't it already out,
understand,
or-
The first episode's out, at least.
it's out, the first episode. And what I understand, it's sort of kind of a prequel to One Piece because I think it has ties to Wano. I think it's the character that he would eventually develop into Zoro.
He looks like Zoro when I look at the app. He looks so
Yeah.
cute.
the top knot and everything.
I didn't know that it was a one-shot. Did you guys know it was a one-shot?
Yeah, like I think he wrote it for the Shonen Jump.
Yeah, apparently it's like I can't remember, 5 or 6 like short stories. All in
Oh,
one.
okay. Okay.
Did they confirm whether or not it's canon or it's just it's something that could be in there?
As far as I can tell, nope. Like
No, it's not
that.
canon?
Know that I have not found something that says it's canon.
Well, it says here in this article, follow an adventure, and I'm gonna say Rumia, who I think is the zombie
Samurai.
from
Okay.
a samurai zombie from Thriller Bark. He says a swordsman who becomes super important to Zoro and Wano country's past.
Maybe. Well, I was gonna watch that first episode because I saw it pop up on Netflix, but it said MA. I'm like, oh, I can't watch that with the kids around. But I'm excited for
Right.
MA from Oda. I'm like, okay. So I'm interested.
Yeah, and I think he's also got a kind of like a relationship with this other swordsman, kind of similar to Zoro with Mihawk, because there's this other guy he admires that he wants to outdo, and he wants to kill this dragon to prove he's better than him.
He looks very much like Mihawk.
Does
But-
the go ahead.
I don't know why the episode is MA. Like, there's nothing different than typical One Piece violence in the. I'm just
Oh,
reading
yeah?
through the pages. Yeah. So,
I think it's because it's Netflix.
That's weird. Okay.
it is very. I mean, what color is Zoro's hair in the manga? Is it black or is it white?
It's
Because-
green.
Shoot.
Well, no, I know it's
like,
green.
Well, I mean,
is it colored in, or
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it shaded in?
is it outlined or shaded in? Yeah.
Because I don't know if that because when
do
my
I have one
husband
here? No, I
watched,
don't have one here.
I don't have it either.
Matter
But
in
when
the
my husband
boxes.
watched the first.
It's it is not solid, so it's white with outline
Oh, okay.
and spiky.
Okay. Where this
Okay.
guy's got dark hair from what I've seen in the anime.
He does, and he does have like a little cute little pigtail. But it's weird because in this one shot, Zoro's not in here. But when I saw a clip it over my husband's shoulder earlier, Zoro was in the anime. So
Young
Maybe he
Zoro?
was talking about him. Maybe he was talking about it because I put something in the private chat because I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't watched the show yet. But I am correct on that character.
okay, maybe so.
Um,
But he very much looks like he could be like Zoro's cousin. They look very
And
strong, similar.
and again, I have to look at that chart that Oda did in the book about Zoro's family tree because I know he's connected to Wano.
Oh, that's why you kept saying that they should have expanded on his backstory in that time. That's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. I think that he planned to, but he didn't. He kind of went into a little bit of it in the manga and the anime when he was talking about how they established that island in the East Blue, and the one guy was the sword maker. And
Well, One Piece is close to ending. You think they'll branch out the series to the Zoro show?
Yes.
I mean,
I'm sure there'll be something.
I mean, we say close to ending, but even if it's 20 more volumes, which is supposedly to be around 125, I mean, what are we talking? 6, 7, 8, 9 years?
We'll be on
or something?
Medicare age.
We'll go and cash our social security checks to get the next One Piece volume.
Yep. Manga Sloth will be rich from his graded manga by that time. He's like, "Oh, I totally didn't call that right."
Yeah, I'll sell. Well, they're all going to be personal to me, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll just be sick of them. I'll sell my jank manga now for
I would
tons
say
of money.
you got body swapped, you got isekai, something happened.
Oh man, I'm sure there'll be some kind of. I wonder if they'll collect some of his other short stories and do things because I think he's written other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They
Well-
did with the original premise for One Piece too, and the anime.
Yeah.
So even if there's 20 more volumes, I think a lot of us that are caught up can agree that there's no way, shape, or form he can cover everything.
Right.
Because he already cuts out so many things that we never get to see. Giant wars and battles of
Yeah.
characters we love in the background that aren't
Yeah.
happening with the like Revolutionary Army and stuff. So he's already letting Boichi draw and do Ace's story, and then
this went out. Yeah.
and then I'm hoping he does more of that. He goes, oh, let's do a 10-part series of, Blackbeard attacking the Revolutionary Army or something, or
There's also
side things like that. That'd be great.
there's the Law light novel I'm still waiting on an English version of that goes whole into that whole timeline of Law from the moment he witnesses Doflamingo killing what's his name to him meeting his crew and everything.
And
So
don't forget, we
there's
also-
possibilities.
We
You're
got the
not
elementary
even-
one too, with Sabo, Luffy, and Ace all being little kids. They look so cute. I mean, that's probably not canon, but I will take that because we got the three brothers and just cuteness.
Carrie, are you even a Trafalgar fan? Come on.
Do you even law?
Do you even law, bro?
I love Trafalgar Law, but the coffee is wearing off right now.
I'm joking.
But I was reading fan translations of the novel, but I don't even know if most of them are accurate enough.
It's like, do you even have Law's card?
I don't.
I do.
I do. I actually do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in that pack I got that time, but then I had to hold off on buying anything
Oh, sorry.
because of the whole situation I have.
There you go.
I know
Nice
she has. I know she has law money because I sent her a
Yeah.
blingin' law dollar or whatever.
And I got law figures.
Wall poster to the on my side be the right, but I think it's to your left.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So I
Carrie
have.
follows the law.
Oh wow.
The puns are
Even though he
strong.
doesn't.
It's all right. So we wanted to, instead of a top 5 this week, we're just gonna kind of go over some manga we've read that we really think people ought to know about if you don't already know. Do we want to start off with Laura?
We
Or-
can.
Go on, Laura.
Okay, so the last thing that I read is a manhwa, and I was so influenced, and that's See You in My 19th Life. This was incredible.
Oh.
I don't even know how to talk about it because I'm just like, I came in with the lowest of low expectations. I mean, we're talking like, I'm picking this up just because I was influenced by 2 friends. But I was like, I'm not going to like this. I start the first page and I was completely immersed. I was like, I liked this. Like, I'm not a fan, I'll admit. I can do reincarnation stories. Oh my goodness, Magic Knight Ray Earth is really good. I hope you enjoy it. I really like that one. Anyway,
I see it everywhere.
it is so good. I agree with a friend, and the reason I start, she said Magic Knight Ray Earth is better than Sailor Moon. I said, what? And I read it, and I love Sailor Moon, but I agree Magic Knight Ray Earth is better. Won't say how. Wow, you gotta go read it to find out. But
All
anyway,
right.
but yeah, I'm not a fan of like when characters are reincarnated 19 times, but it's a very compelling backstory of her trying. She's a childhood friend, then being really close. She ends up dying, and her trying to find him again because she's like, even though I've lived all these lives, and I told myself I would never have romantic feelings for anybody else, I can't stop thinking about this guy. She's like, I hope in my next life that I find you. And that's where this story takes place. But he doesn't know who she is because she's reincarnated as a completely new person. And it gets better and better as it goes on. The art is really nice. And the main girl is like sort of stark and blunt, like in her speech. But she can be really funny, but nobody else gets the humor, if that makes sense. So I'm really, really excited to see where this goes. And I'm so crushed that it's Daily Pass now on Webtoons. Because it's completed, I think, at like 7 volumes. But when I finished this, I was crestfallen that it was over. And I was like, when's the last time I felt that way? Where I genuinely was like, I don't want it to end. It very much shocked me. And I didn't expect to like it at all. But I would highly recommend it.
There's a K-drama too.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about that. But I try and avoid K-dramas because they're so addictive. Like, I can't do anything else. Just watch K-drama all day.
Well, I said Oshinoko is gonna have one.
Oh,
Or,
yes. The live action.
action.
I was pretty
no,
shocked.
I'm kidding. Not K-drama, but it's gonna be live action.
Japanese,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Sloth,
that's gonna
do
be
you have
fun.
anything?
Like I said, I came on here like literally last second, so
I
I
know.
had nothing
I know.
planned. I
But we
do.
appreciate you being here.
Yes, I do have to hop off like right now, but I will say
Okay.
last night I finished. I know it's not new, so hopefully new isn't a something that needs to be. I finished Hina Matsuri last night, and Hina Matsuri is amazing. One of my absolute favorite mangas I've ever read. 19 volumes, so semi-long, but not super duper long. It's gonna be a tough one to explain. So
Okay. So
probably
just check it out.
Probably look it up. You would have to look far and wide to find someone who does not like it that actually started it. Everybody's just super in love with it because it's freaking awesome. So I don't know if you take any of my word to heart, definitely give it a try. It's weird. It's not something that's like everything else, and they work really hard on character development. So all the little idiosyncrasies and stuff mean so much more when they're happening, because you can tell like somebody's facial reaction and things in the background, and it actually means so much more without explaining everything over and over, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
No, we see a lack of that in Hollywood right now, but
Definitely. And then I finished what else? I finished something else. Golden Kamui. I finished that.
Mm.
You're talking about sorry, this one I saw. It had an anime that I really liked, and
Yes,
I
have not tried the anime, but it was such a good manga. I think I'll see if the anime is good.
They're
And then
both funny.
Golden Kamui,
31.
31 volumes. I think we all probably know that one a little better, but I'll leave you with that. I'm sorry to like chuck manga and run, but I gotta hop
That's
off.
okay. And everybody check out his channel. You have some videos coming up? You said
yes. Do not thank you all for if you want to check out my channel, but I would say definitely check out Laura A. Grace's channel, Bo Knows Manga channel, and Nerdygirlcreates channel. They are all so much better than me and more passionate. I definitely recommend everybody going and checking those out. I will see everybody next time, and thanks for having me on.
Bye. Thank you.
So, Carrie.
All right. The comic book fan in me really enjoyed this manga. I'm not usually one who's really big on a character replacing a famous hero, but in this case, it was so well done and better done than it would have been in a Western adaptation that I highly recommend Fake Red.
Oh, okay.
It is Spider-Man suddenly disappears. Peter Parker disappears. And this young guy, finds the Spider-Man costume in the trash. And he sees something happens, and he throws the costume on, and he doesn't have any superpowers. He just has like the devices to create the webbing in the costume. So he goes out of his way to like help people, but he's struggling with it because he doesn't have any of the Spidey sense or any of the super strength, and he's not the greatest at it. But he wants to protect people, and he also wants to find out what happens to the real Spider-Man. So it's a whole this journey of him learning to be a hero and trying to find the hero he admires. And unfortunately, the series got canceled before we got it in print, but this is an omnibus, and the story does kind of complete in this. So I would say check it out. A lot of the Spider-Man characters show up in this too. You get Venom, you get Silk, and some others. But it's nice to see a story with a character who he doesn't really want to replace Spider-Man, but he feels like somebody's got to step up until Spider-Man returns. And the whole struggle.
Yeah, that feels more organic than a lot of what we're being. What we're reading now kind of feels spoon-fed to us. Like, and take it and like it.
I like when a hero goes through a journey of trying to learn to be a hero, failing, but then never giving up and getting back on their feet. Yeah. And that's what this is.
Not just
so that is Fake Red.
Yeah, that actually sounds really good.
It does. I agree.
I know I have the Deadpool series still fresh in my head. That's got me cautious of it. That's why I didn't pick it up. But after that, I might actually look at it this time.
I heard there's a really good Superman one that my friend Jim on Weird Science recommended. It's about him traveling through Japan and eating food.
Superman Meshi, I think it is.
Yes, and he says it is great, and he's like, it's a lot of fun. So I'm like, I have to check that one out.
My friend just recommended that to me the other day. He's like, yeah, you need to get it, and the covers look fun. I mean, I think volume 2 or 3, they're all eating Japanese food, like Wonder Woman, Batman, like all of them. I was like, dude, this is like one of those things you just buy for the cover because it's just fun,
Yeah, that sounds fun. Definitely. Well, I don't mean to bring it down, but I have a little number here called Innocence. Not sure if I brought this up last week, but hell, if I did, this still deserves a second recommendation. This is an omnibus of a story of a executioner's son. Now, what I love about this is that he's a sweet, kind-hearted young man who is expected to fall in line with the family business and become an executioner himself for Paris or France. Can't remember which area, but for him, his story is how his family and everything that he goes through kind of breaks him down. It chips away at him, and with every chapter, there's something that he goes through that just gets him lined up and more ready for the position. And you see his innocence just disappear with everything that he goes through. The art is fantastic.
Yes.
There is a little bit of BL in here, but dude, like I said before, if there's BL, but it's a good story, I don't care. It's good. It's not. It does have some graphic scenes as far as if you like anatomy and physiology. There is some dissection in here. I mean, he has to actually learn things about the human body and how it works in order to better, do his job. And that part I actually appreciate because prior medical field, Kitty, no,
Be nice, Kitty.
But yes, one of my favorite. I mean, I would dare say I would set this next to Berserk. This is a fantastic story.
Nice.
What is
I have to pick that up.
LBL? Boys Love.
Yeah, Boys Love.
But all right, Laura.
All right, Laura.
Yeah, anything?
I have mine. I sent the link for mine.
Oh,
sorry. It was like, oh, I forgot I read this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty Cat, I can think of Tony reading Innocent at our last live stream. Guys, I don't know how she be reading this episode. So chill would she be reading it. I was like, oh. So this is a shoujo, and oh my gosh. I reread volume 1, and I read volumes 1 through 3. Outside of the end of volume 3, I really feel like this is the shoujo manga I've been looking for that has the perfect mashup of sports and romance. Doesn't have my volleyball, it is basketball, but it's about this girl. Oh gosh, can't remember her name right now, but she is obsessed with muscles. Like, we're talking, she got some binoculars, be looking out and checking out the muscles. And she has a muscle
hanging at the gym.
Yeah, and she's got a muscle journal where she writes about different guys' muscles in this journal. Well, of course, this guy, he happens to see it because she's looking with her binoculars over this like fence, almost falls. He catches her, and that's when he sees the journal. And he's like, well, hey, if you don't want anybody to know this, he sort of low-key blackmails her. Why don't you be our coach for the basketball team, or like manager? And she's like, no. And he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go tell everybody what you said about the basketball team's muscles then. So she ends up becoming the manager, and they definitely have some sparks that fly and romance that blooms. And I really like how we're having this romantic storyline, but I find like with sports shoujo romance, they focus just on the romance. And it's like sports is like just what gets you hooked, and then that's it. But this one, it does both, because she actually does come up with muscle plans with like training plans to help their muscles grow. You see them at the basketball tournament that's happening. You see them at practice, and I'm like, thank you. Like that is sports shoujo romance. It's not just one or the other. So I've really loved it, and I can say with this first volume, I laughed so hard on rolling around on my floor because I was reading it on the floor, and I just
LMAO.
It is digital only, unfortunately, but I have really, really enjoyed it and would highly recommend it if you're looking for a sports romance that's shoujo.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. My next one is, I love the anime series so much, and I had asked for this on my Secret Santa. And my Secret Santa happened to be Manga Sloth, and he actually put it in there. And that would be Apothecary Diaries.
Oh.
I love this because it's more than just, I guess it falls into the category of shoujo. It's more of a mystery, where she's using her skills as apothecary to help out the royal court solve all these mysteries with diseases and deaths and other stuff, and it's really good. Plus, I love her relationship with the eunuch,
Genshi.
Genshi. And it's kind of set in like a Chinese royal castle where she's in the inner royal court where they have all the concubines, and her job is to work for the favorite emperor's concubine. But when they find out what her skill set is, she starts getting recruited by this eunuch to start looking into these different cases. So it's really good. It's also really funny because she just tries to avoid things at times, but she can't help herself when she sees something and she starts spilling out stuff. So it's good if you want to read the manga, check out the manga. There is an anime, and the anime is really good too. All right, Bill.
Demons of the Shadow Realm. I did not like the first one on the first round when I read it. I was really hopeful on this one just because Full Metal Alchemist is another one of my favorite manga and anime. But same mangaka made this as well. But after a second read through, I don't know where my head was, but I was like, I like this. I really like this. Why didn't I like this the first time?
Yeah.
The characters are, I mean, you can identify with them. This is a different story. There's no alchemy as that I've seen as of yet. Basically, certain people have what are known as I forgot what they're called, guardians, but there's going to be twins. So if everybody will have two of them, and he has two as well, and a twin. I'm not entirely sure where the story's going right now, but it's more of a he's basically in this small town, have you ever watched what is that movie? Well, basically he's in the middle of nowhere in this little town who doesn't know a lot about the modern world, and apparently there's a barrier around the town he's in that he doesn't know about, and one day it's broken into and people are trying to kidnap him. So the story is basically about him coming into the modern world with these guardians and kind of figuring out what's going on, and his journey is basically about him trying to find his folks. And but it's actually really well written. You'll enjoy the characters. It's very funny at times, and it can also be very bloody at times. Like it's neck snapping speeds, like right there. They'll be laughing, and all of a sudden people will be torn apart. So,
oh my gosh.
No, it's not terribly it's not visually violent, but you'll know the people are dead. So if you like Full Metal, I think you'll really like this one as well.
All right.
3 volumes in.
Okay, so this is part of like a series. If you haven't read it, then I guess this won't make sense. But this is part of the whole Alice in the Country of Hearts, Alice in the Country of Clover, and I needed my best guy, and that was Elliot. So this is called the March Hare's Revolution. It's in the Alice in the Heart of Clover series, and I just got this because, well, the basic premise is Alice has come into Wonderland. All of these people are unhinged. They'll shoot at each other with their weapons, or if they have swords. You know, there's a lot of crazy things that are happening, and so the spinoffs, like this is one of the spinoffs of the main series, and it's just about this guy who's a mobster and has rabbit ears and is so cute, and they're having a relationship with Alice. And I have not had much success with the spinoffs, but this one I loved. I definitely think it would be more appreciated if you have read the series and are already familiar with the characters. But if you need like a mobster romance where he's part of the mob, but he has a heart of gold and really loves the main girl, treats her right, protects her, and all those things, highly recommend this one. It was so good. It made my heart very happy, guys. Very, very happy.
Cool. Have you talk about Alice in Wonderland a lot? Like that seems to be a good story that you really love. Have you ever watched or played the video game American McGee's Alice?
No, I haven't.
It's a very dark version of it. So it's the whole premise is that Alice is not all there, and the things are actually in her head, and she's basically fighting everybody that's in Wonderland and with a knife. And every character is has a very dark drawing to them, and it's actually really cool. I'll send you one of the trailers. I mean, they're really good, really dark. I really enjoyed it.
I have not read a Dark Alice. I've read.
Well, it's not. It's a video game. So it's an older
Okay.
PC, and then the second one was brought out for consoles.
Oh yeah, send me a link. I'd be really curious about it because for whatever reason, I feel like I have been an Alice. I didn't grow up loving Alice, but like apparently that's my thing as an adult. I guess I don't know.
It's a fun story. I mean, a lot of us grew up with it, so it's
Yeah,
understandable.
I did like the movie a lot, but I've never read the original story. But I'm like, I'll read all these other things based off of it.
Darker. The original story is darker.
Oh,
Is it?
I don't.
Yeah, especially when you get into Through the Looking Glass.
I didn't know that. I do have.
It's like Wizard of Oz too is darker.
Really?
Oh,
I need to start looking at
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, darker.
I don't remember. I remember that one being a lot sadder than the movie. I really loved Charlie as a kid when I read the book anyway. But that is true. Same as the Owls of Ga'Hoole. That's a dark book. I didn't read it. My husband did, but he said it was pretty dark. I was like, oh, okay. Compared to the movie. Anyway.
All right.
Oh, that's Carrie.
This one, I saw Prof Otaku talking about it, and I decided to check it out. It wasn't something usually I would grab, but I actually enjoyed it. It's called Bocce the Rock, and it's about this girl, Hitori, who taught herself guitar, and she started a YouTube channel, and people were admiring her, but the problem is she's socially awkward and has stage fright, and she ends up meeting these girls through her new school that are starting a band, and she wants to join them, and at first they're not sure because she barely talks, and then she hides under a box and gets nervous.
Yes.
But over time she starts to gain confidence. I really like this one.
I did like the anime of that one. I mean,
I have to watch that.
Yeah, she was very, I mean, like as you described, and she didn't know how to talk in front of people, or she was very scared, and she would hide in her box the second she felt a little overwhelmed. But you see progress in every single episode, and it's lasting progress. So you see the character actually develop in the series. So I'd actually I wanted to get the manga, but kind of show how thin it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty thin.
Also, isn't it the 4-coma thing too? Like the 4-panel manga.
It's 4 panels.
Yeah, I know that can really.
It's like
people.
Sorry.
Oh.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But it's as thin as Zom 100 if you have that one.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that put me off. I was like, I want a regular size.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I want a full book.
Especially too, because isn't it like $12 to $15 for that one? Yeah, it's crazy.
So for that price, it better come in color.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
All right,
for me, I told you it would be good. And sure enough, we're on 3 of Windbreaker. If you liked Tokyo Revengers and Manga Sloths, I think you said it best, which is Tokyo Revengers Light, you'll have this story where you have the main character. That's not the main character, but you'll have the main character actually fight for the city he's in. So the gang that he has joined up, they're basically not shunned by the community. They're actually praised because they actually defend the entire community from other gangs from other cities and other areas. And he's not used to this. He's used to being shunned, and it's pretty funny how they kind of flip the script on him and are being so inviting and nice to him. It's got a pretty good message to it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and again, if you're wanting a lot nicer version than Tokyo Revengers, this will be for you. But it's delinquent manga, so I love it so far.
Is it less violent or bloody than Tokyo Revengers?
Oh no, it's not violent. There's fighting, but it's not like they're not throwing gore all over the place. I mean, you'll see somebody will get punched, maybe blood will squirt. That's about all I've seen so far.
Okay, I'll have to try that one in because Tokyo Revengers, I liked the story, but it was pushing. It was.
I see you having trouble with that one.
Yeah, so it's like, we're just gonna skip these pages and we'll just see the outcome.
We'll see where that leaves us.
So I'll have to try that one. I have another manhwa, and that's Bloody Sweet. I'm currently reading this, but I did read this on whatever app it's on. Really, really good. Pulls at the heartstrings. This volume's pretty heavy. Will warn that it does have bullying, very severe bullying, so it can be definitely a triggering read. And it's not like your typical vampire romance because he is a vampire and she is the daughter of a shaman, and through a crazy shenanigans. They have this blood right here that you see in the background. They're always connected to one another. So whenever she gets injured, they have that blood that pops up, and he has this connection with her. And so they're getting to know one another, and he has to stay with her. He calls her master, and he's helping her as she's dealing with the bullying that's going on and how she didn't want to be here anymore. And he has gone through similar things before he was turned into a vampire. So it's definitely a story of healing, but again, it is very triggering. So just be forewarned of that. But it's very, very good. I have really been enjoying it, reading it physically, and glad that Yen Press printed it, because I'm like, I love the characters, even if I'm like, I want to beat these girls up that are bullying our main girl, because they're just it's the bullying where like you can't. It's there's something going on, but they make it look like accidents. You know what I mean? And like, she just did that, and there's no physical injury per se. They're really sly about their bullying. It's very, very frustrating. Very, very I can't even say it. Apparently, I need to go to bed. Thank you. It's the second word I can't say today. So, but very good. I'm really enjoying it.
All right, my next one, Marg actually sent this to me because I had read it online and liked it. And it's in a similar vein as Apothecary Diaries. And this is The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom.
Yes.
It's about this young girl who's pretty much a doctor, or, with her trained through her family, and she crosses paths with the prince, who is being targeted by assassins for some mysterious reason, and she helps save his I think it's his guard from a wound. So he's impressed by her, so he decides to bring her back with him to the castle to work as a doctor.
And do you know why she agreed to go?
Because of muscles.
Because of muscles.
She loves those muscles.
Oh
and I love how she starts explaining the actual medical term for each muscle. It's hilarious.
It really is. I love Kyoyo. I hope that you enjoy it. I know a lot of people didn't like it as much because I guess when it comes to Apothecary Diaries, they are very similar. They have very eccentric doctors. But I love Kyoyo. Like her desire and how she bases her decisions on what she'll do because she wants to see the muscle, the buffet of brawn. It cracks me up. I think I'm on volume 4 or 5, and it continues the whole way. Like Kyoyo, there's more important things than muscles, I hope you love it.
She's like the opposite of the girl from Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, pretty much in that regard.
Avoid all the guys.
Yeah. So I hope you love it. Let me know what you think of it. I don't know if Marg loved it or not.
I read 2 volumes already, and I love it. So I have
you
to pick up
did?
more. Yes.
I'm glad.
I like the...
Yes, I second Moonbeams. I do like the medical aspect, and I felt like this last volume that we just got really went into more of the medical part of it. Like I'm looking for a romance. I want a romance eventually, and supposedly we'll get one. But I'm really enjoying just the humor and the characters being together and learning more about the medical stuff of things.
All right,
Bo, what's your last one?
Solo Leveling. Yes, the anime came out, and yes, it's good. The very first volume, if you're checking out the anime, hang on, because the first episode is a little, it's all right. They do a lot of setup, and it's episode 2. If that doesn't hook you, I don't know what will. It goes up from there. This manhwa and this show will have no chill. It just gets better and better with every episode, with every volume. Each one of these leaves you wanting more. And I actually got my wife to read the series. She's actually ahead of me. I picked this one up the other day, and she's already read it. She's like, I need the next one now. So whatever you like, I'm pretty sure you'll like this one. It's basically video game mechanics. What's it called? Fantasy in the modern world, I guess you could say, with video games. So
that's cool.
Really like it. The art's really great, and it's, you know what, for $20, it's all in color.
Yes.
And you know what? It ain't a small or thin copy or anything. You get your money's worth with these.
Yeah, yeah. I feel that way with Bloody Sweet. Like, look how thick that is. I was like, thank you. I'm like, you're making the $20 worth the investment.
And
Yeah, my
Moonbeams,
last one's
it
gonna
is.
be
It
Webtoons
does have an
one
audiobook.
too.
Oh, I have one from Webtoons if we're doing Webtoons.
Audios?
Okay.
Are we doing one? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Webtoons. Carrie, my
No,
bad.
I said I had one that was adopted from Webtoons as my last one.
Oh.
Oh,
I mean, mine is a manual as well, and I'm just going to say The Remarried Empress. I can no longer
yes.
call. I can't call Rashita Trashita anymore, and I never expected for me to be saying that. I won't go on a rant on that because, or like a bunny trail, because I love The Remarried Empress. But I will say these last few chapters, excellent, incredible writing. I mean, I agree with Emily, Mommy Weave. Let me hate the characters I want to hate. But the creator's like, I'm not going to let you hate them. And I just am blown away that I would ever feel like, I was like, I told myself, like, I can't call Rashida trash. She's not trash. I was like, this episode really gutted me. So that's just my recommendation, that if you love the series, keep reading, because it only gets better. It gets more trashy. But these last few chapters have been something else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My last one, I did a review on this when it was just a webtoon. Now, I want to say, you don't need to be a K-pop fan, and you don't need to be a BTS fan. Because this story is pretty much independent.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I mean, yeah. But this story is independent from the actual music group. It's just using their likeness for these characters, and it's a great fantasy. It's called Seven Fates Chaco, and it's about this young guy, Zaya, who discovers there's another world he's connected to where these animal-like humanoids live, and they want revenge on the human world because something had happened, and they're blaming the humans for him. And he discovers he's got some blood connecting him to these animal people, and he ends up getting trained by this mysterious I don't know if he's a sorcerer or what, and they form a group of hunters to stop these animal-like people from hurting any of the humans. But it's more complicated than that, because there's a whole other level of what's really going on that I don't want to spoil. Mm-hmm. So it gets really more in depth, because it covers stuff like prejudice between the two species, and there's interrelationals with the species at some points, mm-hmm. and there's a big sinister plot that's kind of like manipulating both sides.
And what was the name
and
of
the
one?
Seven Fates Chaco.
Okay.
I do like the cover. I mean, that's not bad.
And the art is great too. It's similar to let me get the one page I was looking for. It's pretty similar to Solo Leveling.
Well,
of course it is.
Don't
but I like this concept where they could travel back and forth between the two worlds, where it's not just like an isekai and they're trying to protect their people, and then there's like prejudice run. It's not nonfiction. But yeah, so I have volume 1. The webtoons though adds another layer with when you're reading on there, because they even include some songs from the group that they made specifically for the webtoon.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So you'll hit certain chapters and then it'll reveal that. But I just kind of like the twist that happens in this, and I, again, don't want to spoil too much. So.
I might check it out. I did try the... I'm pretty embarrassed because I said it in my review that it was the creator. Like, is the production studio... Is it...
Hype?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the K-pop group singers, and it's not.
No, that's the company that
I found it after the fact. I was like, please don't become... Yeah. I read the one that's by... It's this one. It's Dark. It's Dark Moon Blood Altar.
Yes.
That one. That was really good. I loved it. And I tried the Star Seekers, though, and I didn't like that one.
That's the TXT one. Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, I mean, the story's not bad. The story, I like how the guys are all really close, but it was so slow moving. So I sort of want to try this one. You have me curious. Do you think I'd like this one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not overly bloody either.
Okay. Moonbeams, I'm so glad you enjoy Dark Moon. Oh my gosh. we should chat sometime about it because I don't know anybody that's read it, and I'm like, this is not my cup of tea typically, but I'm like, I'm all over this. I was like, it can do no wrong. It was fantastic in every single way. Can't wait for the next one.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Bo, do you have anything coming up on your channel? Or
I keep wanting to do live streams. I don't know if anybody would be actually interested in that. Just kind of going over stuff that we're seeing in the manga and anime community on X and stuff like that. But I keep on, I don't know, I keep stopping myself. I was like, I don't think you'd be interested in that. But just kicking around ideas right now. Will do.
And Laura, do you got anything coming up?
Yeah, Friday I have my 2023 like reading stats, and with that I have my like channel goals for 2024 and some reading goals that I have.
Okay, cool. I have my Friday comic book video I'm going to finish editing tomorrow. I'm going over some comics I've read for the week, including a new take on Zorro, which I found really interesting. So
interesting.
That'll be up on Friday. Also want to thank everybody who's been donating to my GoFundMe. We're getting closer and closer to the goal. I need to help with my mom's medical expenses. If you're interested, the link is down below in the description. Also, everybody else's link is also down in the description down below. See, the coffee is wearing off.
Yeah, I feel
in the meantime, plus I have 100-pound Labrador who's decided he's a lap dog right now. So that's why I've been shuffling around a lot. But in the meantime, I want to thank everybody. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We will see you again hopefully next week as long as weather permits.
Yes.
And in the meantime, have a great night, guys.
All right. See you.
Bye.